Park playing his 50th game, Richmond's Michael Mitchell had the first kick and set the trend for the opening term. Fast and furious. Carlton had put 2 goals on the board before the Tigers scored, but some fine marking by big man David Honeybun helped Richmond fight back. And the goalpost helped Craig Bradley. Stephen Kernahan increased Carlton's 1-point quarter-time lead with a goal early in the second term before Mitchell found space again for Richmond. After that goal, the Tigers seemed to fall apart. Their poor passing allowed Carlton to get the ball forward, Kernahan kicking another 2 goals within 2 minutes. Carlton by 23 points at the long break. Richmond found some new pace in the third quarter. Richard Launder kicked a quick goal and Phil Egan found himself in the right place at the right time. Heading into the last with a 17-point lead, the Blues could see their first win of the season in sight, but Matthew Knight had different ideas. That was the Tigers' last goal, 40 seconds into the term. From then on, Carlton dominated the quarter, Richard Dennis doing some fine work for a goal. Richmond got frustrated and Carlton finally got out of the Blues with a 6-goal win.
Before the game started, I didn't think talent would be the factor that would win the game. I thought it would be the side that was most desperate to win on the day, and Carlton seemed to have that in their favour with their 5 losses on the board, or not on the board. When it turned out in the final analysis, I think talent was a factor in that Kernahan was the key man up forward along with Dennis. And in the Carlton side, I think Dennis, coming back into their lineup, his second game now, and he picked up a little bit on fitness. He is the key in their forward line. Kernahan certainly takes the marks, but Dennis moving around that forward line opens up spaces and gives a second option. Richmond were a bit of a rabble in their style of play. They, like very many inexperienced sides and young sides, they tend to move the ball very inconsistently around the field with handballs and short kicks and without any direct pattern of play, without a long style of play that today's football's all about, where they have numbers at the ball. Once the ball arrives, they just tend to be a loose man and run, and a lot of their skill work doesn't pay off. The half-back line of Carlton really was the springboard of attack for them, and Rhys Jones played a fine game along with Hannah and also Alvin, and they put the ball down in the forward line on many occasions. This young Mitchell, or Mitchell himself, played a great first quarter, but in the second quarter, when they really needed the drive, Carlton bottled up the middle of the ground and cut Honeybun, who was a fine player in the first quarter, out, and Mitchell out of the game, and Richmond lacked drive. Lambert was an excellent player for Richmond and will be a find for the side and a player for the future for everyone to watch and take note of.
What about, Rob, in the ruck department? Justin Madden playing the reserves. Firstly, did you see any of that? And Gallagher, did he ruck, and will Madden get back in?
Well, Gallagher rucked, and I thought Honeybun and him had a good duel, and I think Honeybun may have well taken the honours. Madden played in the reserves along with Hawker, and I think they could be well looked at for next week.
How about Hannah?
Hannah did a fine job, and you know, he ran off the half-back line, and he follows up his play pretty well. And once the ball was disposed of, he was either back on his man or ready to assist again. I thought he did a very good
Robbie,
job.
could you see Carlton sort of gaining some kind of momentum and still being a challenge for the finals?
Well, they certainly need their players back that have been injured, the Sylvanis, the Blackwells and that type of player, Glascott, the players that have got experience. That's where they're lacking at the present time.
What about the guys like Bradley and Rhys Jones, who have probably had interrupted pre-seasons, if you like, or early form hasn't been up to scratch? Bradley with cricket, are they starting to give something to the Carlton side?
Well, Bradley, I don't think his fitness was a worry when he first came back. He was still running and getting possessions. Rhys Jones played on the half-back line, or centre-half-back, and did a good job. And Poole, who was on the interchange, came on and gave him a bit of a worry. Rhys is a bit loose on that half-back line and backs his judgment, but still played a fine game by using his ability in that area.
Did some of the other Carlton players who have been down once the winning look appeared on the horizon for them, did they all pick up, Robert, or not?
No, I think they looked to be in a winning position at half-time, and Richmond were the ones in the third quarter that really played some nitty-gritty football and tried to get the score.
Again?
They did. They really did. And I don't think it was until the last 15 minutes, the last quarter, where Richmond were, as I said, an inexperienced side that said, "Oh well, we've got near enough, and that's good enough."
Richmond lost it rather than Carlton win it, you say?
No, I wouldn't say that. Carlton did win the game because of their talent in the final analysis, but Richmond could have well got a little bit closer than what they were.
Who did you give your votes to, Rob?
Well, my votes went to Kernahan for my number 1 vote, and he played a fine game at centre-half forward. Lambert, who played either in the centre or on the back line. He's a great skill player and gets many possessions, and Hannah on the half-back line, who just rebounded that ball down into the forward line.